A leading woman for me is a woman who empowers by doing a good example to other people, manages to inspire other women.
Chef Florabel Co-Yatco, welcome to Leading Women.
Thank you for having me, Angel.
The chef of the stars.
Nako, I don't think I'm going, I'm getting too used to that call because, I'm just very grateful that celebrity friends trust me to prepare their food anytime they want.
Who coined that name for you? Was it at an event? Was it one of your celebrity friends?
Probably because I have a lot of celebrity friends. And then, syempre, di ba, if you're friend with a friend, they would recommend you, refer you. Doon, I think, nag-start.
First celebrity client or friend who you catered for? And
Oh,
who
I
enjoyed
remember
your
when
food?
I was working with Chef Jessie. We did the wedding of Aga and Charlene. And then we became friends until now.
What was that experience like?
Well, it was quite hard because we have to bring everything to Baguio. From the tables, chairs, to the produce, to the meat. Except for the vegetables, we got it from there.
You mentioned Chef Jessie Shinchoko.
Yes.
Is she one of your mentors?
She's one of my mentor. And Tita Glenda Barreto was also one of my mentors.
Via Mare.
Via Mare. I didn't took up any culinary. After graduation, I had my practicum in Via Mare. I was fortunate that Tita Glenda offered me work. And then I worked for them about 2 years. And then after that, I was able to work with Chef Jessie for 8 years.
So no culinary background, but a very, very good chef. Where do you trace your culinary skills?
I remember when I was young, we live in a compound with all my cousins, my aunt. We would eat together, sabay-sabay. Doon ako natuto. I love to eat. So doon ako nag-start magluto until when I was in high school, I would sell a lot of goodies.
What is it about food that you enjoyed na you pursued this passion of yours?
I love to eat. And then my husband loves to eat. That's our bonding time.
Your first restaurant was named after you,
Yes,
Florabel.
Florabel, yes.
May pressure ba that you put on yourself to name your first restaurant, ikaw kaagad?
After 10 years of working, that was the time I felt na I have to have my own restaurant. Sabi ng dad ko na, oh, why don't you name your restaurant Florabel then? Di ba, since ikaw naman rin yung magluluto. Concept of my restaurant is to have like a fine dining. That's the expression of me being a food lover and a chef with my experience with the fine dining.
So that was in 2005.
2005, December.
December 2005. When you look back at the time you opened your first restaurant, parang so much has happened already. So many restaurants also have opened.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about 15 years. I have about 23 restaurants.
So the decision to come up with a restaurant in the last 15 years, what's that process like?
It depends kung sa tingin ko na okay. It depends if the offering of the mall is really nice for me. At the same time, if I think that the market needs this kind of food, tsaka kami nag-open.
You're known for your Filipino food.
Yes, Crisostomo.
Crisostomo. You also have your
Corazon,
Corazon.
El Corazon,
You have Sisa.
Sisa.
All
yes.
these characters from Noli.
Normally, I would name my restaurant sa mga taong mahal ko. My husband's name is Christopher. Wala namang Christopher na pangalan sa Filipino, di ba? So sabi ko, ba't di na lang tayo Crisostomo? So doon nag-start yung name na Crisostomo. And then afterwards, we opened Elias. And then after, we opened Corazon. Lastly, we opened a Filipino na it's called Sisa Secret.
So all these restaurants, iba-iba rin ang kanilang flavors, would you say? Because I understand Sisa Secret is like a bakery restaurant.
Bakery and a home-cooked meal in the stretch of the South Expressway. Kasi di ba lahat doon fast food. Nowadays, the preference of the customers nag-iiba eh. Medyo healthy, medyo home-cooked meal. With the busy schedules of the customers, wala silang oras din magluto. My husband thought of, why don't we open a social na turo-turo? So doon nag-start yung Sisa Secret. We first started with barbecue. Our pork barbecue is really famous. Afterwards, we said, why don't we make pandesal? So after the pandesal, nag-evolve na. We made our pianono, pan de coco, Spanish bread. Until now, we continuously, develop things, breads, cakes, pastries that can improve Sisa Secret also.
Mapunta naman tayo kay Crisostomo. The menu of Crisostomo. What is that like and how has it evolved through the years?
Okay, the menu of Crisostomo, lahat yun halos ulam sa bahay namin. Doon nag-start yun eh. Kung ano yung preference kong lutuin, yun yung nakalagay sa menu. Kung ano yung gusto ko, then ano yung gusto ng family ko. Because ako, I believe kung I'm very happy, satisfied with the dish that I prepare, I'm sure my customers, my clients will always be happy rin.
The palate of the Filipino, how would you describe it?
Panlasa nila, it's more of matamis, maalat-alat na maanghang. When you think of Filipino, pag sinabi mong may kare-kare, from scratch pa rin namin ginagawa with the raw peanuts. We boil the oxtail, we boil the ox tripe. When you say sinigang, we still use the sampalok, the real fruit sampalok.
Wow. While talking, nagde-describe ka about the bread, the dishes, the sinigang. Nakakagutom just to listen to you and for you to just describe everything. What's a typical day like for you? How many times do you visit all your restaurants?
Okay, as much as possible, all the caterings pinupuntahan ko. But for the restaurant, probably once every quarter, to be honest, because I'm very lucky that I have good people from the time I started until now.
Coming up, Chef Florabel shows us what she's like inside the kitchen. Next on Leading Women. Chef Florabel Co-Yatco has over 20 restaurants in the metro. She gives us a glimpse of where the magic happens, the Florabel kitchen. Chef Florabel, we're inside the kitchen of Florabel Restaurants. The concept of this restaurant and the menu.
Well, our menu is continental, but we have a page na medyo may gourmet Filipino. But today, I'm going to prepare my favorite pasta.
What is it called, Chef?
It's called pasta ala angel.
Oh,
Okay.
yay! Thanks.
Yeah, actually kasi I would just tell my chef na, oh, can you make me like an anchovy pasta with some garlic, mushrooms, bacon, asparagus, that's it, with a little bit chili.
Okay, so this is also on the menu.
Probably we can include this one.
And now we are requesting you to show us how to make it. Very basic lang, as you've said.
Yes, we can start with olive oil. I like sauteing the anchovies
Okay,
para
what-
maalis yung lansa.
I can help.
You'll just dump everything.
I just dump everything.
Okay.
Can I do this
Yes.
now with the mushroom?
Yes.
Something we can also try to do at home, no, Chef? Pwede ba yan?
Pwede, pwede. As long as you have a good ingredients, like the basic ones that you have stocked at home in your pantry, you can come up easily with a good pasta.
Smells so good.
I still cook, especially at home. And during our caterings, pag kailangan ko talaga, then I will really join the chef in the line to cook pa rin on the spot. Lastly, I'll just put the asparagus.
So, mabilis lang na
Mabilis
sauteing,
lang to,
no?
like less than 5 minutes, you can have a good pasta. Kunyari, you have a visitor, tapos you have, stock, like a bacon, a mushroom, or any vegetables, just, mix them together. So, blanch this.
Yeah, I noticed there's no salt, no pepper,
No salt
nothing.
because the bacon, merong natural, salt na siya. And then, there's anchovy. But since I'm going to put the pasta, lalagyan ko ng konting salt. I'll put a little chili.
Though the preference if you want it na mas maanghang ng konti.
Yeah. And then a little basil. Or if you have like a pesto, you can add more oil. You can also use quinoa pasta if you like. Or gluten-free pasta.
And visually, no?
There's a color.
There's color, the green, the asparagus, you have your scent. Yung parang it feeds your 5 senses.
And then, if you're not eating meat during the Lenten, then you can remove the bacon.
Or
Then
the
you can add Spanish sardines, tuyo, your tinapa, or shrimp.
Or the anchovies, pwede
The
na
anchovy.
rin, no? As
Oo.
It's your heart, your hands, your love for what you do. Yung mga bata, gustong-gusto nila kahit anong lutuin ng mami nila. Kasi nasa kamay yun eh.
It's in the hand. If I have a customer, different pa rin pag you're here, when you're the one making it, iba pa rin daw
It's
yun.
your hands that are
The
different.
timing, kahit
Yes.
nasabay tayo magluto, the timing of paglagay mo ng bawang, ng sibuyas, the timing of pag-saute mo ng bacon, iba yon. And then we're ready to eat.
That's it.
Lalagyan ko lang ng
Wow.
konting salt.
Okay siya.
And you can also add pepper. Pag nagsusaute ka kasi, then tama na yung lasa. And then when naglagay ka ng noodles, syempre magtatabang. So any pasta that you make, always after pasta salt, always yun.
After pasta, salt. Guys, remember. Para hindi siya matabang.
Okay.
That's it. That was quick.
This is for you.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Chef Florabel's favorite pasta. Salamat. I'm sure I will.
Okay, taste.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, thank you, Chef. Can I serve you naman?
Okay.
Ano yan?
You know, with this pasta, kahit malamig, masarap. Kasi olive oil.
Chef, I know it's bad manners to talk when your mouth is full, but my tummy is full, my mouth is full. Cheesy as it may sound, my heart is full. Salamat po.
Thank you.
Chef Florabel talks about the rise of female chefs in the country. Coming up on Leading Women. Years since opening her first restaurant, Chef Florabel Co-Yatco has no plans of hanging up her apron. You started dun sa compound, yung kinukwento mo when you were with your aunts and you were baking until such time na you were with Chef Jessie and Glenda Barreto to the time that you decided to open your restaurant.
Yes.
15 years. The food and beverage industry, would you say it has changed or evolved? Kasi mas marami ng chef na babae ngayon.
I think mas marami na talagang chef na babae with their passion in managing a home first, diba? And then the kitchen. Kumbaga mas maalaga rin sila eh. Even though na kahit di sila nag-culinary, you know, with all the social media, they can research and learn how to be a good chef, a good cook.
What do you think makes a good cook?
Well, I think, number one, you have to be passionate. Kasi, you know, being a cook or being a chef, hindi rin talagang yayaman ka agad. I mean, long hours standing, the heat in the kitchen, the burning of hands, mahihiwa ka dyan. Hindi glamorous eh. Pero, if you're passionate about it, you will, you know, survive everything.
I saw on your Instagram post your son Manu was making what's that?
Macaroni salad.
Yes. Does your daughter have
Adele?
any interest also in the kitchen?
Adele, not so. It's more of Manu. Adele likes to paint, loves art. Like my husband, he loves art. My husband helps me in conceptualizing the restaurant. So Manu, it's more of mahilig kumain. He's always in the kitchen. He's always going with me to the supermarket during weekends.
So meron ka ng little chef.
Sana. So, you know, I mean, I like to take his picture when he's in the kitchen para, you know, paglaki niya, nakikita niya na ganun pala siya when he was young.
Does he share with you, you know, what he thinks? I mean, he's still young, but
He's
at
2
that
years
young,
old.
very young age, may interest na agad, mahilig na agad magluto.
Yes, because he eats everything that I feed him. Even okra, even ampalaya. You know, I let him taste that. The cheese, all the fruits.
As parents, no, dapat we should also encourage our children to try different things.
Yes. Para, you know, hindi sila maselan. Kasi when they grow up, diba, normally doon nagsa-start yung mga preference nila, what they want. They want to eat like junk foods. So, ngayon pala, even my daughter, sanay sa home-cooked meal.
How particular are you with the menu or food when you eat in other restaurants or when you're abroad? I know you love to travel
Yes.
and try different dishes from all the countries that you visit.
When I'm abroad, I try to be more adventurous. Just to learn the taste, the feel of that, like a rabbit or an ostrich, like that. But here in Manila, I still go to the favorite restaurants ng mga, you know, old-time favorite namin. Filipino restaurant pa rin. And then I also check with my other competitors, you know, how they present the food.
May iba talagang taste ang Filipino food. What makes the Filipino food stand out from all the other types of dishes around the world?
Well, I think Filipino food at its masarap na siya talaga eh. You can't be fancier. Kumbaga kahit simple lang siya, like a bowl of kare-kare. Di ba parang one dish na yun. There's a vegetables, there's a medyo sauce, there's a meat. So, complete meal na siya. Especially also with a lot of influences from a Spanish. Di ba we were colonized before. May Spanish, Chinese. So, yung combination doon, so that makes it beautiful dish for a Filipino dish eh, with the influence.
Your favorite Filipino dish? Do you have a particular dish na
can-
pinabalik-balikan?
That I can eat every day?
Yes.
I like beefsteak Tagalog. The way we prepare our beefsteak Tagalog is we use Angus beef and then I like sinigang. Even every day with the mash na may gabi, tapos beef short ribs, tapos malapot-lapot with the sausawan, sili at patis. It's really good.
Sarap!
Kahit everyday kong kainin
Sarap.
yun, it's really good.
Ini-imagine ko pa lang siya mainit na sinigang.
Hot steaming rice.
Yeah.
But syempre, nagda-diet ako ngayon. So, I would eat adlay
Okay.
to go with that. Diba? Yung adlay galing rin naman sa atin, sa Benguet. Mas masarap din siya without worrying na with the calories.
Chef, your favorite bread?
Well, the first bread that I baked was pandesal. I love pandesal talaga. So that when we opened our restaurant, Sisa, that's the first bread that we bake also. Then, doon na nag-evolve. Yung pandesal kasi, di ba, it's very common to all family home and it's very staple. After baking pandesal, we made pianono, Spanish bread, pan de coco, and all from scratch. Until now, we still make that.
Is that available in all the restaurants?
It's only available in our St. Luke's Global Market on 5th, but the complete one is available in Sisa Secret in the Expressway. So, nandun din yung mga home-cooked meal namin, the frozen ones, the cooked ones na doon.
We speak of restaurants. You have a new restaurant coming up, a new concept. Please tell us about that.
It's more casual. And I think it's going to be parang everyday staple of their customers. Yun yung magugustuhan nila. Kasi nga, di ba, sobrang busy na sila. So, I came up with a concept na something na hindi mo mamimiss. Parang second home mo yung restaurant na yun.
Oh, that's nice. Well, thank you in advance for that. Kasi sometimes, as someone who likes to eat, who enjoys eating, pag tinignan mo yung menu, sometimes nakaka-overwhelmed. And so, babalik-balikan mo yung nakasanayan mo na or yung gusto mo. Once in a while, of course, you experiment.
But at the end of the day, you will still go back to your childhood's favorite or the basic dish that you want, na kinalakihan mo rin.
Constructing Crisostomo, another
yeah.
Crisostomo around the area. Please tell us about that naman.
We're constructing a new restaurant. We have a meeting like once or twice a week. Then I oversee the construction.
Mag-iiba ba yung menu? Is there a tweaking in the menu?
It's still the same Crisostomo, but we're introducing more dishes now.
Chef Florabel, the future of your business. You're being a chef, you're opening restaurants, you're doing it at your own pace. Do you see in the next, 2-3 years, opening more restaurants, maybe another bakery?
I see myself probably having few more restaurants, but my dream is to have a manufacturing. We have deli bottles. That's one way to achieve my dream by starting to make these deli bottles. For example, we have this tuyo. So it started nung ginagawa lang yun sa house namin. And then we have this crispy dulong na it started in at home. That's one step for me to achieving my dream to have a manufacturing. Probably in 5 years' time.
So that's going to be like 20 years into your, the timeline from 2005, no? So 20 years, parang perfect, no? 20, and then you have your own manufacturing.
I hope, yeah.
When you come up with a concept, how often siya nag-iiba or when do you decide na these dishes have to stay?
If I do a menu, I would always rely on my gut feel kung masarap ba to, kung gusto ba to ng family ko. Number 1, me. Second is kung gusto ng family ko. Number 3, if my friends like it. And number 4, if the market, the demand. Hindi ako naniniwala sa kung ano yung uso eh. Normally, mas gusto ko yung kung ano yung mga gustong preference ng mga tao. And then from there, I just tweak it and then I enhance it para mas maganda yung presentation.
Parang with the endless possibilities and with sharing that you never even took up culinary
No culinary.
background.
I was just fortunate with the experience from the 2 my two mentors, Chef Jessie and Tita Glenda.
And we are fortunate to hear your story, to learn from you, and be inspired to also pursue our passion and to eat and live well.
Yes.
Salamat, Chef.
Thank you.